Thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Eye on Africa with me, Georgia Calvin-Smith. Tonight, an investigation's launched after several people are killed in a rock-blasting accident on a major highway outside of Ghana's capital. We'll hear from our correspondent on the ground. Also, a place of fear. Rwanda dismisses the credibility of a Human Rights Watch report accusing authorities of systematic rights abuses of inmates in prisons throughout the country. And Feeling Fela, Nigeria's most vibrant city, throbs to the sounds and celebrations of a cultural icon. The Felabrations Festival takes over Lagos in tribute to the legendary Fela Kuti. But we head first to Ghana, where at least 3 people have been killed and more than 40 hurt in a construction accident on a key road linking the country to neighbouring Togo and Ivory Coast. An investigation's been launched to work out what went wrong as contractors began stone blasting the site just outside of Accra. Justice Baidu brings us more from the Ghanaian capital.
The accident occurred late Monday evening on an extremely busy road just meters away from a market on the outskirts of Accra. The construction has been happening to help expand the road and to rid the neighborhood of the heavy traffic that it is noted for. Ghana's road ministry, in a statement earlier today, said that this was not the first time that the blasting was happening. Victims of this accident have been speaking about the thousands that they have lost as a result.
The vehicle was parked here every day, and you got spoiled the vehicle. This is my shop too that we were built, that we have not finished doing it, and it spoiled the gate. The
police says it is still investigating the circumstances that may have led to this blast. The main contractor working on this project, however, has yet to make a speech. There's huge concerns across Ghana around how health and safety measures are adhered to on the site where such projects are happening.
We were here when we heard the loud sound. We even thought maybe it was electricity or something. So within 10-20 minutes, then the Okada people started rushing people in with their motorbikes. It was there that we heard it was the road construction. They did some blasting of a stone, which they've been doing, but how they did it, only God knows.
Such accidents are rare and far in between in Ghana, but when they do happen, the victim numbers and death toll tend to be high.
Well, Kigali's rejected accusations from Human Rights Watch that serious abuses, including mock executions, beating and torture, are commonplace in some Rwandan jails. Authorities responded to Tuesday's report, saying that the international NGO is not credible and does not have a monopoly on human rights. Human Rights Watch's researchers, though, say that they've interviewed dozens of people over the last 5 years and consulted court documents as they gathered evidence. Some former detainees allegedly said that they even heard executions through the walls of facilities where they were being held. Clement Jerome tells us more.
Human Rights Watch accuses the Rwandan authorities of subjecting prisoners to mistreatment and acts of torture. The NGO speaks of a practice that has been entrenched in the country for decades and bases its claims on the testimony of former detainees who were imprisoned in 2 major prisons and another unofficial detention center here in the capital, Kigali. The report also draws from about 50 trials and public interviews of former prisoners where they denounce these acts of torture.
We followed the trials of 53 individuals, and we were able to document a lot of the patterns through that method and then corroborate them through interviews with former detainees. But some also spoke publicly, and we refer to some YouTube videos, including some of people who have now disappeared, who came out of prison and spoke about the treatment that they'd been subjected to. And we were able to use all these different methods to corroborate and form an idea of the patterns that were in place.
The NGO also references a trial in April last year here in Rwanda where several prison officials were prosecuted for murder and assault. 3 men, including the former director of Nyarugenge and Rubavu detention facilities, were sentenced to prison terms. Human Rights Watch claims to have obtained the names of 11 detainees who died following beatings. The NGO calls for more thorough investigations by Kigali. Government spokesperson Yolande Makolo describes the accusations as unfounded and says Human Rights Watch lacks credibility. One of the NGO's researchers was denied entry into the country this year.
Clement Duroma there for us. Now, over the border in DR Congo, frustration of the instability and danger caused by Rwanda-backed M23 rebels has spilled out onto the streets of the northeastern city of Butembo. Hundreds of people marched on Tuesday calling for the army to do more to rein in the militia groups who've long terrorized communities in the east.
Today we called for a large demonstration to show that we have had enough of the massacres, to show that we have had enough of the security issues. That is why we called for great solidarity, for strong mobilization to try to educate the population, the entire community, and all the local communities in eastern DRC.
Well, since its resurgence in 2022, the M23 conflict forced almost 2 million people from their homes in the east of DR Congo. Fighting with the Congolese army has been fierce, and recent efforts to thrash out some kind of negotiated peace deal to ease the unrest have been taking shape. But progress remains arduous. Emmett Livingston's in Kinshasa. He tells us more.
There's a new peace plan for solving the M23 conflict in eastern DR Congo. However, it's risky and could lead to violence. Over the weekend, negotiators from DR Congo and Rwanda met for talks in Angola's capital. At issue were Congo's M23 rebels, who launched an insurgency in late 2021 and have since captured a chunk of Congolese territory and displaced over 1 million people. Rwanda has also sent thousands of troops into Congo to support the M23, according to UN experts. To fight back, Congo has relied on the support of several militia groups, yet the conflict is almost impossible to win militarily. Still, there was a breakthrough in peace talks over the weekend. Kinshasa agreed to neutralize the Hutu extremist FDLR militia active in eastern Congo in return for Kigali withdrawing Rwandan troops. No timeline has yet been decided. While the plan is a step forward, many experts view it as unrealistic. The FDLR militia is deeply embedded in eastern Congo, and should the Congolese government pursue the group, it could blow up the relationship that it has with several other militias that are also fighting on its side against the M23. Tensions between the pro-government militias and the Congolese army are already sky high. In late September, the Congolese military conducted a murky operation against what appeared to be the FDLR, and several days later, clashes between some militias and the army erupted outside of Goma, with several people killed. For now, a shaky truce is holding in eastern Congo, one which diplomats hope will endure so long as peace talks continue.
Well, in Kenya, a potentially landmark legal challenge is being brought against the big name brands of hygiene products like nappies, pads, tampons, diapers and wipes. Many, like Huggies, Always and Kotex, are household names, and petitioners accuse the multinationals of misrepresenting the safety of the materials used in their products. Olivia Bizo brings us more.
A court hearing took place today regarding the ban of toxic diapers, sanitary pads and tampons. Lawyer Joseph Moy took the issue to court, stating that these products were marketed as being safe for women and children and that they only contain cotton. But in reality, they contain a huge amount of synthetic materials that are unsafe for consumption and can cause a lot of toxic effects throughout these consumers' lives. Now, he says and is arguing that this goes against consumers' right to information as stated in the Kenyan constitution.
In reality, they are made of over 20 different synthetics, and synthetics that when you do proper investigation, you're finding that some of them are linked to forever chemicals, some of them are linked to carcinogens, and there has a lot of secrecy between what is actually in the commodity and what our women are using.
The companies being sued include Pampers and Always. They now have 14 days to provide their official responses. Now, they argue that they weren't responsible because they weren't the ones distributing the products, but the court rejected this excuse and said that they must provide an official response. The next court hearing will take place in March of next year, when both sides will present their final arguments before a final decision is made.
Olivia Bizet there for us. Now, Tuesday the 15th of October is International Rural Women's Day, celebrating the crucial role that women, including those who build a life outside of urban communities, play in the systems that all our societies rely on. Our team met up with a cooperative in Morocco that's working to support women entrepreneurs taking a new approach to building their businesses.
My name is Fatima Bala. I'm the president of the Atakamul Agricole Cooperative. We specialize in healing and aromatic plants and natural makeup products. I handle the growing stage of the plants. I water them, make sure that there are no weeds, and use spices to keep the soil healthy. We want women who don't have financial stability to have regular incomes. Even women who do have a little money coming in can earn a bit more with the work we do here, or at one of the cooperatives like it in other regions. Enterprises like ours create new options. Women don't have to look for jobs the same way that they have in the past and can create their own opportunities. But they have to really mean it if they want to make it work.
And finally, the annual week-long celebration highlighting the life, legacy and music of legendary Afrobeat creator Fela Kuti kicked off at an all-night concert in Nigeria's commercial hub, Lagos. Laurent Berstecker talks us through.
Percussive rhythms, African sounds, and a hint of jazz, all under the watchful eye of Afrobeat's founding father. It's become a yearly tradition at this Lagos club, a week-long festival to pay tribute to the great Fela Kuti, a man whose influence on music and on African society as a whole still lingers 27 years after his passing.
Fela was the man who stood for Africans. You get me? He was not afraid to be part of the world. You get me? And then we like to celebrate him so that Africa can be recognized in the world.
A visionary musician and founder of Afrobeat, Fela Kuti was also known for his eccentricity and his political activism. His fierce criticism of military regimes in Nigeria earned him the nickname Black President and saw him jailed for 2 years in the 1980s. A supporter of Pan-Africanism, his ideas continue to inspire the younger generations.
It's a movement, and it's more than music because it's deep now. Like he's really talking about, like he really suffered for the youth, and you know he went through a lot for us. That's why we're celebrating him today. You understand?
The Felabration Festival will continue all week at the New Africa Shrine, a mythical club founded by Fela Kuti himself, and that's now managed by his family.
That, though, is all we have time for Eye on Africa for now. Thanks for joining us, though, and do so again if you can. Till then, take care.